What's going on, guys? It's Jeff for Reef.com, and today we're going to be setting up the quarantine tank for the 260-gallon build. Alright guys, so first things first, all the equipment that I'm going to be using for this quarantine build is stuff that I got from the Mega Box from my aquarium box. So if you guys want to check them out and see what you need to do to enter to win the Mega Box, jump over to myaquariumbox.com. So this heater is going to be more than I need for the 40-gallon quarantine tank, but I'm definitely going to put it to work. This right here is something I actually seen local fish stores use many years ago. It's basically a reactor or an internal reactor, and you can put stuff like activated carbon in it, or even any other type of media in there, and it basically just pumps the water through it, and it actually sits inside the aquarium. It's not going to be something that I use constantly. It's going to be something that I throw in the tank. Like if I notice the water getting cloudy, throw some carbon in there and let it polish the water. Most people don't realize that carbon's only good for like 4 days max, and then it can cause more problems than it solves. Next up on the list is the Penguin 200 with the bio wheel, made by Marineland. This filter has been around for a very, very long time, and you don't stay around without being a good filter. My grandmother had an aquarium, and I remember I was probably 10 years old. It had a bio wheel on it, and I remember just watching the wheel spin in the water. I thought it was pretty cool. So you don't stick around for a very long time without being a solid product. So this being a quarantine tank that we're putting together, a hang on the back filter is going to be enough to get this tank up and running. You don't really need to have a sump or any type of elaborate filter system. You just need to have something. And I've had three or four aquariums under the 75-gallon mark where I've used a hang on the back filter and it worked just fine. So that is the lineup of the equipment that we're going to be using for the quarantine tank. We're using a heater, hang on the back filter, a internal canister filter, and a thermometer. And that's it. That's all it needs. So I took the aquarium for the 40-gallon and I spray painted the back and spray painted the bottom of the tank. And when I say I spray painted the bottom and the back, I didn't, not the internal side, the external side. So I flipped the tank over and I found a spray paint that looked similar to sand, and I spray painted that. And the reason for the sand color is because I want the fish to be somewhat calm, not stressed out, because they're in a tank that has hardly any places to hide, something that they're not, used to. Most fish stores don't have just bare tanks holding fish. They have them set up. They are elaborate. They have sand, rock, all that stuff. So that's the reason behind it. So now that I have everything situated in the tank, I threw some PVC pieces in there for fish to hide. The heater's in there, the canister filter, and the bio wheel. I'm going to start filling it up with RODI water. This water is not pre-mixed. Usually I use pre-mixed water, but where I'm starting this tank and I'm not going to be adding fish to it right off, I'm just going to throw the salt right in there. Do not, at any other point in time, just throw the salt in there. I strongly recommend that. You'll have nothing but problems. So once I filled the tank, I started plugging in the equipment. I plugged in the heater. I plugged in the internal canister filter. Then I threw some water in the bio wheel hang on the back filter and got it going so it was primed and I wasn't running it dry. Next was to start the cycle. And to start the cycle, you guys, if you haven't seen this before, I have a video on fishless cycling. I use Dr. Tim's One and Only. There's a link in the description below if you want to check that stuff out. This stuff, for a long time, I thought was snake oil, but it's absolutely awesome. And I've cycled tanks as in little as 7 days. So it's very, very awesome stuff if you want to check it out. Like I said, link in the description below. And right here, I'm adding ammonium chloride solution, and that's just to get the cycle going. And here is the tank. It's cloudy, and it's going to stay like this for maybe a day or two, and then it'll clear up. That's just a combination of the adding the salt to the tank, it not being mixed up properly, and also adding the Dr. Tim's Aquatics one and only to the tank. That will also make the tank cloudy. Happens, it's natural. It will clear up in a couple of days, and it should cycle within a week. And once it's cycled, I'm going to be making a run to the local fish store, and I'm going to be picking up some fish. So what I need to do at this point, now that I have the quarantine tank set up, is I need to go and put a wish list together of what kind of fish that I want to put in the tank. And that's going to give me an idea as to how and what I need to stock and when I need to stock it. All right, so the next time that you guys see this tank, it will be cycled, and hopefully we'll be adding a fish to it. And that is setting up a quarantine tank. If you guys have any comments or questions, feel free to leave one below. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. I want to thank you for joining me today. And if you're new to Mad Hatter's Reef, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys next time right here with a brand new video.